Hello. In this video, we are going to add more movement to the player so that I can run all the way through the world. I can collect all the coins and everything, because all I can do right now is jump. So that would work for like an endless runner where things are coming at us, but we actually are going to move through the scene here. So we want to add more movement capabilities. We're still going to use the key down method here. Now we might say that something else works better, but let's give this a try because we've already used the key down function to make the jump happen when I press the space bar. So let's do that for the other ones. All right, so when I use the key down function here, listen for when I press the A key using the WASD controls. So if I press on A, that's supposed to move it to the left. If I press on D, it's supposed to move it over to the right. All right, so if I press on A, then what should happen? All right, so I need to make an arrow function here, parens arrow curly braces. Go inside my curly braces to actually write the code for that function. All right, so the player then should move. So I'm going to say player.move. And then in the player.move function, I need to fill those parentheses there with how it's supposed to move. Does it move to the left, move to the right, all that kind of stuff. So we want it to move to the left then. So I have to tell it the X movement and the Y movement. So the X movement is going to be maybe negative 100. And then the Y movement will be nothing. All right, I'm moving to the left. All right, so let's see what that does. Okay, so I can't get it to move. I can run away as fast as I can from that enemy. All right, so then we can repeat that for the D key. So use the key down function to listen for a D, comma, to put in the arrow function there. So in that case, this function says player move to the right, so have a positive X movement, but still doing nothing to the Y component. All right, which should give me, as long as I've been careful about my jumping, then I should be able to move over here. Yeah, all right, so now I can pick up that other coin. All right, now the 100's probably too slow for this case. It feels like it's not really enough. So I could certainly change the numbers here. But I'm probably going to change it a whole bunch and see how this is like negative 100 and 100. They're probably going to line up pretty well. It really would be good to make this a variable. That will just make things a good deal easier. So I'm going to go ahead and make the variable here, just kind of inside of white space. Yep. So after the collide function is finished, but before this key down starts, I'm going to make a variable. Now we're used to saying let, but this is actually a really good place to use the const variable declaration. I'm going to say const, let's just call it speed, is equal to, let's do 250, all right, because 100 wasn't really enough. All right, and then I can just swap these out. So do notice a couple things here. I didn't use the word let. Instead, I used const. So what happens when you use const is that when the game is running, this variable can't change in any way. So we've used let in the past because we did want our variables to change. But this is really just making a constant number. That's what it stands for. And the convention is to write those variable names in all caps whenever they're constants. They just kind of stick out a little bit more. That's just the way people typically write their code. So instead of typing the number -100 here, I could say negative speed. And then instead of typing the number 100 here, I can just type speed. And then I just have to change this number one time. I might do some other calculations that involve it. So now I just have one variable that's right there. All right, so that definitely will speed things up a bit. The tricks here is you gotta press that space bar. You gotta click into the game pretty quick. Yeah, that feels a little better. All right. So we've done jumping, we did all those. You might want to have like a down character, a down movement here. So let's see what that looks like. Let's say key down. So when I press the S key, then do an arrow function here. Now we could do player.move, but there's kind of gravity involved, so I don't think player.move is exactly the right thing. So I'm going to actually say player.wait. Equals 3. All right, so that's going to make that player become a little bit heavier. So we could force it to fall down again if we wanted to. Yep. And the only interesting thing there is now it's got like a heavier weight. So we'd maybe want to toggle it back, but that's pretty good for now. All right, so that just makes it move down like that. Yeah, and I kind of like that idea, but I think for now I'm just going to comment those 3 lines out, which this is a good opportunity to show you like the block comments. So what if I just want to comment these 3 lines out altogether? Not that hard to do // in front of all of them, but I could do /* to start the block comment and then */ to end it. All right, so just anything between those 2 parts there, that is just going to comment that whole section out. So if you have 10 or so lines, it's more helpful. Yep, so I'll just leave that out of the way for now. All right, but we got the player moving all over. He can actually pick up that other coin. So we'll just keep building out the game.